Dua. Hotel. We ask for permission from our ancestors to speak today.
Ashe.
We must invoke your consent to even open our minds. We are cries from the womb. We come to you with a divine feminine cosmology. Yeah. Mother Earth, Mother Nature.
The Queen Bee, the great cosmic mother, as above, so below.
Come on.
We understand and relate to the black woman.
My eye.
For she is the key to our survival.
Come on.
Don't y'all get it? I guess not.
That feminine energy, the first ancient cosmology of the world before it was corrupted. That divine, feminine, primordial concept of the womb.
Come on.
Dua, creator, divine force, supreme energy, and great power. Lead us through this journey called life. Looking forward to the Duat.
Ancestors, be with us at this moment.
Sekhmet.
Guide and protect us, for
Teach.
we are your offspring. We will never forget your sacrifices
Natural.
and continue influencing
Divine principles.
and energy
Return to
in
your
our
roots.
lives.
Hotel.
Ashe.
The primeval waters of noon. Hotel, Uncle Jasaneb. Welcome to another live broadcast of Adults Only. I am your big brother, Jahi. And today we have a very, very important subject to talk about. Chaz will be in just a little bit later, but I want to set the stage now, and we don't have any time to waste. This broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, friends and enemies, there are so many people that are addicted or strung out on dope. There are many people that are strung out on alcohol, gambling, sex, tobacco, food, shopping, pills, and caffeine, to name a few. All these are called behavioral addictions. But let's add the newest obsession to the list: social media. That has the entire world in its grips. Social media. Some of us are in denial about our addiction to social media. This massive manipulator has affected our minds big time. But the questions still remain. How did this happen? When did this happen? Where did it happen? Why did it happen? And who allowed it to happen? Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I'm going to bring on my co-host Chaz, and we're going to start the process of talking about social media obsession. What's up, Chaz? How you feeling today, man?
All right, yourself. You sound like
I'm
you're a little
hanging.
bit under the weather today.
Yeah, I am, but I had to do this. I wouldn't miss this for the world. I couldn't miss it because I know for a fact that this is something very important. We have people already coming in our space, people just coming in and they're texting us or messaging us saying
Right.
hotel. And my brother Ray say, "Are you okay? You sound hoarse." He's
Yeah.
absolutely correct. But you know what? I don't care if I have 1 ounce of volume. I got to do this broadcast.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so this is important. But Chaz, let me just start this off by talking about what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Because social media obsession is when one is addicted or obsessed or fixated or enslaved to something, willfully incarcerated. Social media produces infantile minds that are like babies or very young children. And many of our minds have become paralyzed because we can't and we won't do anything about our lethargic condition when it comes to social media. Now, we both know that social media is a beautiful tool if it's used
Yes.
correctly for research, cultural enhancement, encouragement, promoting truth, learning, mental stimulation, business advancement, community building, and more.
Mhm.
But for the most part, Chaz, I want to say something, or I'll read this fact, and I want you to start taking it away because I really want to turn you loose, and here we go. The
Okay.
fact is this: right now, way too many of us are obsessed and addicted to social media. Please comment on that.
First off, I want to say, and myself included, it has really taken a hold of our lives, brother. And when I say this, it's gotten to a point where a mother could be at home with her kids. She's cooked a good meal.
Mhm.
Brother, do you know if you have a family of 3 or 4, we cannot sit at the dinner table and have a basic conversation because
Right.
all of our heads down are looking at the phone, scrolling. And I kind of hate that it's gotten to this point, brother, that I've seen some families, and I'm sure you have too on YouTube, At the dinner table, they take the phones, put them in a basket to get the kids to communicate, brother. And that's an excellent job, because what is going on is, even if you go into your local stores, observe most of the people in the store, and this is no knock to them, brother. This is just what's going on, brother. Nobody wants to really talk. Our heads are constantly scrolling on these phones. We don't even look up half of the time because we're just scrolling. It's like, what happened to human dialogue like this? But no, we just can't. We can't stop scrolling on social media.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point now where most of us are addicted, but we are in denial. We know that's you, myself, and everyone else, but we hide behind our cell phones as a cover up.
Yes.
And we're sick because we have allowed this to get out of control.
Yes.
We have done this ourselves. And so I want to put up some of the common signs. Here are some common signs that tell us when we are obsessed with social media, because many of us are addicted. Brother Ray says it's the truth. You know, he's always willing to admit the truth. And most of us are just sad because social media has almost but destroyed our relationships, destroyed our ability to communicate. But let me start off with saying this. Here are some common signs that tell us when we are obsessed with social media. Do you find yourself spending a whole lot of time on social media each day? What do you think about that?
I would like to say, if you look at your phone, there's a chart on there that it shows how long that we're like on these apps. Brother, you would be surprised at how long we are. I know we're spending a lot of time. And here's my question to the ladies out there, and this is no knock. I would suggest stop uploading pictures of you and your children at school. I don't care what the scenario is, brother, because here's what's going on. There's a lot of sick predators who sit back and say, okay, Sally's dropped her son off at school at 8:30. They can see the background, or even if they can't, they can hack your IP address and find out, okay, this kid gets dropped off at school every day at 8:30. There's a sick, and I don't wish this on nobody, brother, but here's where I'm going with this. Any child is acceptable for abduction because the parent is constantly uploading pictures, dropping them off. I say, please, women, if there's anybody out there, stop uploading pictures of your child at school, because you're making yourself a target for predators to try to abduct you and possibly your children.
And we are too old, Chaz, to be spending all this time on social media. I mean, there are other things that we can do, but this shows how far down we have gone as a society. As a nation, we've stooped to an all-time low because this social media has become our God, man. It's become our deity. Social media, it's a situation where a lot of us don't realize the damage that it continues to do to us, because we're spending way too much time on social media each day. Here's another sign. Do you find yourself checking social media without a specific reason? I mean, go ahead.
I'm laughing because I'm a big person that does this, and I have to catch myself when I'm watching a sporting game on TV. When there's a commercial break, I catch myself grabbing my phone, and I'm like, what am I doing? What the heck am I doing grabbing my phone? Here's a commercial. I can't sit still for about 2 minutes. I have to check my phone. And listen, we have to come to the terms of agreement. We're not missing anything. We're not missing anything on social media. It's not nothing that we have not already seen. Yes, it's okay to check every blue moon, but when we're constantly checking and listen, it's gotten so bad, I've caught myself doing this. I've scrolled for about 20 seconds. I put it down to pick it right back up again 2 minutes later, and it is the same stuff. It has to stop.
And this is what I like about what we're doing. We're both admitting that we're struggling and we have to fix it, and we're going to give some application. But a lot of cowards, they know that they're doing this. They are obsessed, but yet they won't comment like Brother Ray, who will say, I am working on certain areas of my life. But with this social media, every one of us find ourselves checking social media without a specific reason. And the reason that we're doing that is because we are obsessed. We are addicted to this thing. See, it has all of us held hostage. And a lot of us are so sad because we don't see the damage that it's doing. But here's something else that I wanted you to comment on. It says here, Chad, social media addiction, it leads to FOMO. That's a syndrome. In other words, you mentioned it, a fear of missing out. They think they're going to miss out on something.
Yes.
Now, we have a lot of information we're going to talk about for the next 2 or 3 weeks, because next week we'll talk about the aspect of what is it being used for?
Right.
What are we using it for? And that's where the problem lies, because many of us are using it for the wrong reasons. It's our life. It's our world. And like I said, it's our deity.
Yeah.
It's our God. And a lot of people don't want to come clean, but it's grown people. I'm not just talking about the youth.
Yes.
I'm talking about 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old people who are strung out. They're strung out on social media because they're afraid that if they put the phone down for 5 minutes, they're going to miss out on something. Yes. And that's the problem.
Can I add real quick? And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, brother, but I just kind of hate where it's gotten to the point where it twists reality. There's so much, and I'm not here to police people. You can post what you want, you can write what you want to write, but it's gotten to a point to where what people see on social media, if they're not seeing that in reality, I'm talking about the people who are scrolling on it, they don't want anything to do with the person. So it's two different worlds, brother. And listen to where this is going. This is going deep. Do you not know that this social media, what they're also talking about inventing called with the goggles, I forget the name of it. Okay. This is going to take us to another world where you can lie in your bed, be in a total another dimension, and it's going to get to the point to where, like I told you earlier, we're not going to know how to separate reality from social media. And in fact, a lot of people are just going to be glued to our phones once this virtual goggle reality comes back to life.
Well, right now we're just combing the surface, but we're going to get deep into this thing today and for the weeks to come, because we got to look at the psychology. We got to look at how a lot of us are using this because we're lonely. You know, we want compassion. We want a friend. You know, so we have these make-believe girlfriends, make-believe boyfriends on social media. We're going to get into all of that. So I want to buckle your seats, and we're going to look at what Ray said. He said it's designed to addict us. And he's right, because that's exactly what it's doing. Because look at this. A social media addict has many of the same habits as a habitual nicotine user, drug addict, or dope fiend. Yeah. You know how a dope fiend, when they wake up, the first thing they want to do is get them something to smoke or something to drink. Yeah. Well, that's what we do. Yeah. The first thing we do is what? When we wake up, we grab that phone. Yes. The last thing we do before you go to bed is what? We grab that phone. Mm-hmm. And see, we're in denial, and that's why I don't think it's going to get better. I know you've caught flack for saying these types of statements, that sometimes things are too far gone. Mm-hmm. But everybody wants this hope. They want this futuristic type of everything's going to get better and everybody's going to live happily ever after. Mm-hmm. Social media has destroyed many of us because most of us act like we're dope fiends, except for we're doing it with the cell phone. Yes. The only thing, the difference in a dope fiend and a habitual nicotine user is they used to hide their liquor because they didn't want you to see they were drinking. Mm-hmm. We don't hide the cell phone. Oh, no. We want the whole world to see us doing this all day. Grown people, all day, all night. And it's like we act like we have lost our minds, and we are no better than an addict when it comes to the habits, because the habits that we have are pretty much the same. And a lot of people don't want to face it. Their children are addicted. They are addicted. We are addicted. Our grandparents are addicted. Our nieces are addicted. Our nephews are addicted. Yes. Our mamas are addicted. Our fathers are addicted. Our friends are addicted. The whole world has a problem because we don't know how to manage our own time, Chaz. Brother, that talks about us. Go ahead and talk about it.
I don't know, and I know I'm kind of a little bit jumping around, but this just crossed my mind. Do you know why they invented this type of category on YouTube called shorts?
The YouTube shorts?
Yes.
Why did they do it?
Okay, they're saying there was a study, and I should have sent you a video. They're saying that the average attention span, due to social media, we cannot sit still for past, I want to say it was like 2 minutes. So
Mhm.
the reason why they invented shorts was because they realized due
Mm.
to social media, our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So that's why they created that to gain more popularity and gain more people to watch because they've noticed due to social media, our attention spans, brother, it has went down the toilet.
And look how this statement rings. A brother says, sadly, many relationships are destroyed because of the jealousy of social media. If the television, whatever the television doesn't get, the sitcoms, the movies, whatever TV doesn't get, social media scrapes it up. And people have lost relationships because they don't know how to use social media. Social media,
Yes.
again, should be used for those positive things, but we use it to post and to see who likes our posts. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, I'm going to bring up some information next week on how hypnotized we are. We don't look at that, but we're hypnotized. And
Mm-hmm.
this is why we're not getting many comments from those who know they're addicted.
Yes.
Grown people every 5 seconds on that phone. Me reaching for my cell phone the very moment that I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a problem, but because many of us blacks, African Americans, Nawapians, Hebrews, Christians, Muslims, Jews, spiritual people, we are the culprit, but we're so sad and sick that we can't come to grips with this is a serious problem and we don't know how to get out of this entanglement and we don't want to have a serious discussion. They tell me this, Chaz, when a person is an alcoholic, the first thing they have to do is say what? I admit that I'm an alcoholic.
Right.
Many of us are in denial because we don't want to look at these kind of broadcasts because we know that these broadcasts are talking to us.
Right.
And it's like, we didn't say you couldn't use social media.
Right.
We all use social media,
Right.
but we are obsessed with it. And this is why most people should be saying, I'm like that too, Jahi and Chaz, because I reach for my cell phone as soon as I wake up.
Can I ask you something real
Oh,
quick on the social media thing? Why is it that, and I call these people, and this is no knock to them, but I call them social media demons or social media reporters. What they do, there's a particular person, they'll send you a request, they won't comment on anything, they won't like anything, they won't do anything, but they'll watch your account like a hawk. And what they do, once they see a post that they don't like, they call another relative, they'll gossip, they'll call another relative and get a smear campaign started. And it's like, okay, if I don't like a person, I'm just not going to follow them. Why send a person a request to be in his business? And then when he posts something, you have an attitude, brother. If that's not a sign of sickness,
I'm telling you,
following people you don't
it is.
like just to
It is.
report on them, this is terrible.
Steve, we don't like to admit our sickness. We don't like to admit it, but there are many of us that are sick. We read people posts. We on that media, social media, day and night. We read these posts, man, and we begin to like the people that post. And none of the posts that they post, for the most part, we want them to think that we're down for them, and we're really not. We want
Right.
them to think that we want them to see our names whenever they post. This
Right.
is a sad and a sick person. This is a deranged person who don't know how to use the media that we have. Scrolling hours at a time, reading posts day and night, night and day, all throughout the day. And this is why our numbers constantly drop when we have these kind of broadcasts, because too many of us are little children in the mind, and we don't want to look at this to say, I myself am using this thing way too much.
Yes.
And I have to learn how to cut off the usage of that. You don't have to read every post. And a lot of it, as we're going to talk about later on today, and then even next week, it's junk.
Yes.
It's junk, man.
Yes.
And,
yes.
I don't care who LeBron's son is dating. I don't care what kind of hair this man, the basketball player for the Miami Heat.
Butler.
Yeah, I don't care what kind of hairstyle he has.
Yeah.
I don't care who Kim Kardashian is seeing now. I don't care about all these things that we get caught up in. I don't care about John Legend's baby taking its first step. But this is the sickness that we have now, see?
Yeah.
It's because we are addicted to it and we don't want to come clean. We don't want to hear these kind of broadcasts. checking compulsively, constantly after posting to see who liked your post. You put a post out there and then you check it to see who liked it, who didn't like it.
Brother, it's gotten to a point in this specific aspect. I've seen people and I've known people who will post something, let's say at 1 o'clock in the morning or even in the evening or what have you. They don't get the response that they like, so they'll wait 3 hours later. They'll re-upload the same post, and if they still feel like they don't get enough likes, they will re-upload it again. And it's like these people are uploading the same thing over and over. And sometimes, well, I'm gonna step on some feet. They're looking for a particular individual to like that post.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
And this is what this mostly is about. If that person doesn't like it, they're gonna keep uploading it until they get that person's attention. If they not, they're gonna die trying.
And don't let somebody accept your friend request. You're gonna go everything you can find on them to see what they're doing. This is a sign. It's like you're a flunky. It's like you're a wannabe. You're a follower. You want people to follow you. Social media has a significant effect on our brain.
Yes.
Whenever we log into a favorite app, I'm gonna tell you what happens, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to be scientific now. Okay. Dopamine signals in our brain, and it increases. Now, dopamine is the chemical that's released in the brain that makes us feel good. Right. So when one gets a like, more dopamine is identifying this activity as a rewarding one. So the more likes we get, the more we want more likes. And so we repeat this process over and over again. And when the dopamine wears off, we go back to the same source because we want that pleasure of somebody giving us a smiling face or a thumbs up or saying something positive about a like. This, my friend, is gotten beyond out of control. Yes. This is retarded, if you will. This is nonsensical. Go ahead and take it away, Chaz.
Just real quick, I was going to say, now this is my suggestion on how to fight social media. So there some will say, well, what are these two? What are they going to give us suggestions on how to beat this? Here's the two things that you can start doing. This is what I've implemented that actually has helped me. Instead of scrolling, or once you notice that you have a pattern, and this is simple, get you a crossword puzzle. Start doing things to help the memory. Get you a Sudoku puzzle. Yeah, these things may seem lame to you or seem boring, but it actually helps your brain. Also, exercise for a little bit if you can get up and walk. And if you can't exercise, or if you're tired of working out so much, you can also try to find a new language. And you don't have to become the best French or Spanish. These are just 3 types of ways how to cut back or cut down our social media use. So exercise, crossword puzzles, and possibly learning a new language to fight all the social media use.
Well, let me tell you this, man, because I'm being honest. You shouldn't have to give a grown person tips how to fight this thing. They know, we all know, cut down on the time we spend on social media. You don't have to tell them. I don't have to tell them. I understand we're going to give you tips, because how did you get in this situation? How did I get in this situation? Well, this is how we got in the situation. Searching for a certain person's post to like so they can see that you did. See, social media is used in a lot of ways that's very, very negative.
Yes.
It as people said, it brings us into a fantasy world. Those posts that we post, man, they're really not us. We talk about wonderful things that go on in the world and how we should be, but we're not living those things. So we're living in a fantasy world. Our children are living in a fantasy world, and the adults don't want to come clean to say we are addicted to this thing all day, all night. And I'm talking about all of us, because all of us have the same problem. We're searching for a certain person's post just to like it, because you know when they look at their post, they're going to see who liked it. So you want them to see that you in line with them. If that ain't sad, if that ain't sick, if that ain't loneliness, that's terrible.
And that's what I was just getting ready to say, to generalize this in a nutshell, brother. And this is no knock to anybody because I'm myself are included in this category. Most of the people who have this heavy addiction are two things. One, brother, they're lonely. They're
Oh, wow.
looking, they're
Okay.
looking for something to do. They need something to, this is what they find hope in. So they cling to this thing. And the other type of people who are so obsessed with social media, and this is no knock on them either, they could have been critically injured to where they can't get up and walk or, you know, get around like they used to. So they're looking for something to do. And that's why they cling on to social media, because they're lonely, brother.
Yeah. And I'm going to talk about that later on. We're going to bring this up again. But see, we don't see that as loneliness. You know, we have told ourselves that we're a socialite and we're out there. But it's really loneliness because we don't know how to deal with what's inside of us. And because what's inside of us needs to be fed and needs to be stroked, it needs to be loved. So they want someone to love them. And now, this is why we'll talk later on about how people use social media for flirting. Some of the ladies and some of the men, they use it for flirting. They put pictures on here, you see. And then people look at these pictures, especially some of our sisters, they're half naked.
Yeah.
They're looking for a man, but they're not saying that. And so the man will see that, and then he would inbox them. And before you know it, there's a relationship that has gotten started. And I'm not knocking that, to each his own. But we're not honest about what we're using it for. We're trying to get a person to like us, man, because we don't have many people that like us because we don't like ourselves. And so therefore we do everything we can because we just, like you said, we're lonely inside. And also, this is something that's very problematic. Getting irate when someone interrupts you when you're on social media.
Oh, that's I've seen literal clips of family or a father scrolling on his YouTube account or what have you, and the child comes in the room and asks, you know, Dad, when are you going to take us to McDonald's? Brother, this 6 foot, 245-pound man will start hollering and screaming, you know, get out of my face, Johnny. And it's like, social media is not that serious, but we will get in a rage, especially like you mentioned, if our favorite YouTuber has posted something and we get in the nitty gritty, you better not upload us or World War III will start writing at home if you do.
Here's something we want to look at, that a person was honest. And this is what I like about Adults Only. I like the honesty of those who watch this and would participate. She says this, now that is me. She says, I will play my games and do research online. Also, I will look at social media sometimes. So here's an acknowledgement. And a lot of us won't acknowledge it because it's like an alcoholic. We don't want to admit that that's just what we do. And I think for the most part, a lot of us are going through so much. We don't know how to deal with social media. And so we don't care. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and we appreciate Sister Marie for that comment. And she is telling the truth. She has the heart to get on a broadcast and say, that's you brothers are dealing with me. And I appreciate you guys for checking me on that. So I appreciate that comment as well.
And this is why we will never grow, because we got so many jealous people inside of their hearts, inside of our hearts. We have some people that are just fueled with hatred. They're fueled with envy. They're fueled with self-hate, and they can't come to grips with saying this is true, because we're talking about all of us. Now watch this one. Much of what we're saying is for many older people. This is not for the young. You want to talk about that? This is not for just the young.
It's for the old, brother. It's for both, because like I told you when the broadcast started, a lot of our elders who do have a good brain, they even have gotten tutorials, brother. They'll ask their younger grandson, show me how to work this phone. And at first they're a rookie. At first they're not good. They get on these apps, and their grandchildren are they're coaching them up on how to get on these apps. And our elders, brother, they are on this at an alarming rate too. They're constantly on TikTok. I had a relative that told me, and I'm not here to knock this woman. I think she's in her early 60s. Do you know that they told me that this sister created a TikTok account? And you know what they do on TikTok.
What?
You know what they do on TikTok.
Oh, man, you know, this is really something. Look at this one. Lying about usage of social media. When you confront me and say, Brother Jai, you've been on that phone for quite some time. And instead of me saying, you know what, man, you right, I'm going to say, I ain't been on that phone. I only been on it for 5 minutes. But I know I've been on it because I'm sneaking when I go to the bathroom. When I do the number 2, I got the phone there. When I do number 1, I got the phone there. When I go to the car, I got one hand on my phone. When I sit down, I got one hand on the phone. And see, this is what I don't like about us as a people. We will not ever get help until we admit that we have problems. You've admitted you have a problem. I've admitted I have a problem. Raymond admitted he has a power problem. The Queen admitted she has some issues. But these people, man, these people don't want the truth. And that's what they always talk about. They don't want the truth because they're lying about their uses. You can look at how much time you're on that phone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I hate to say this, and this is not a funny matter, brother. I'm pretty sure if we were to, and I should have done this, how many accidents are caused by what? These cell phones. These cell phones have caused a lot of wrecks. In fact, they even have, when there is a school zone, if you're caught, and you may not even be speeding, if a police officer sees you on that cell phone, I believe you will get a $200 to $300 fine. And it's gotten to a point to where we can't even look out for our kids that are crossing the street trying to go to school because we're looking for somebody, what they have posted.
Let me tell you what's really going on as well, Chaz, from a political social standpoint. In Rome, in 264 BCE, there was an emperor. His name was Caesar Augustus. Rome was declining. Rome was falling down. This place was going to hell in a handbasket. And what he did was he gave the people what is called bread and circus. He gave them bread to keep their minds off of what was really going on. Mm-hmm. Then he gave them circus, which would be the gladiators. So people would go see the fights. And instead of looking at what was really going on in their community, what was going on in their world, they were too busy accepting the bread and circus. The analogy is the same thing that's going on with us. There's so much going on in the African community, the African American community, the descendants of the enslaved communities. We have so many issues, but we're on a damn phone all day and all night, and it takes our mind off of what's really going on. So this government has given us bread and circus also, and this is why a lot of us are on this cell phone like this. This is why a lot of us are dropping off these calls like this. They don't want to hear the truth. And I'm telling you, no matter how you say it, you can say it nice, you can say it mean-spirited, you can say it how you want to. Many of us don't care about what we're talking about because we're so obsessed. It has taken everything from us. And instead of, when you try to take some alcohol from an alcoholic, you try to take dope from a dope fiend, they're going to get angry with you. So when we're talking about what they do best, people are angry with us about this, man. They're really angry about this.
And I have to keep reiterating this. All the listeners that are listening to this is not to knock you down. This is not to belittle you. This is just for us to get a better assessment and gain control. And I told you this too, big brother. These phones, when we're constantly scrolling like this on social media, don't you see the similarity between a lot of people who complain that they have memory issues? Okay. You cannot hold a radiation machine in your hand for 11 hours and think to not have health effects. Now, you can take vitamins and things like that to help you, but I'm willing to bet you the people who complain about they can't remember a lot is because of these cell phones and all this radiation that's coming from it.
Where are all the conscious brothers and sisters? Where are all the spiritual brothers and sisters? Where are all the Christian brothers and sisters? Where are all the Muslim brothers and sisters? We're on our cell phones. That's why we don't want to get involved in something like this. Why are so many of us obsessed with social media? One of the things is this: escapism.
Yes.
Using social media as a way to escape from real life challenges.
Yes.
You have challenges. I have challenges. When we grab this thing, we go into our own fairy world, our fairyland. And we stay there for a long time. We see the mountains, we see the lakes we see the rivers that are blue, the streams, we see nature, and we like this. And so when we come out of the fantasy land, this is real life now. See?
Yeah.
And so I don't want to deal with real life. So I want to go back to my fantasy world. I want to go back to my fantasy land. And that's what it's all about.
And I hate saying that, brother, but that's dead on. a lot of us are looking for escape, and we are, as far as African Americans, we are dealing with a lot. There is a lot on our plate, so I can't act like that's not the truth. But at some token, you can't look for social media as an outlet, because I'll tell you this: eventually, it's going to get to a point where if there is a power outage or anything like that, to where our phones are down for a month, what you gonna do then? What are you going to do? I think we would lose it if that ever came to that, to where we couldn't get on our phones for a month because of the weather or what have you. Brother, we would lose it.
There would be a lot of killing in the streets. It would be a lot of murder, mayhem. Here's another comment, as Queen says. The media is a form of entertainment. She says, I use it to the point of abuse at times. So I put it down, turn it off, because I get sick of it. It's disgusting. And some of what is allowed should not be. And what's beneficial, they will remove it, as they do on one. They do D on one, she says. Some of your previous podcasts, I'm telling you now, man, this is a direct frontal truth about social media.
Yes.
This lady is telling the truth. Go ahead and say something, Chaz.
Yes, I was just going to say, too, I appreciate that comment for trickling in. She's another sister that's on here saying she has awareness of her situation. She's abusing it. She's looked at herself and said, you know what? I have to get a better hold on this, because this thing is overtaking me. And back to the point, like she mentioned, and that's why I don't get on social media. They let a lot of foolishness on here, but like she mentioned, some of your podcasts they're stripped from your site because of some of the things you said, but they let some foolishness. I can't comprehend why they allow certain things and then they take away certain things. It's ridiculous.
Why do so many of us abuse social media? You hit on this earlier. We're lonely, man.
Yes.
We act like we don't have a friend in the world. So we're looking. We want to be accepted, Jazz.
Yes.
We want people to like us. We want people to notice us. We want people to be a part of our world. So what we're doing is we're reaching out. We're lonely. And we're saying, I want someone to be my buddy. Yeah. I want someone to be my friend, like little kids in elementary school. Will you be my friend? This is what we're saying, because we don't know how to deal with loneliness. So we use social media as an escape mechanism. And that's why we're doing this.
Let me throw this too in here, that before I forget. A lot of us use social media because a lot of us are narcissistic. Everything is about us. Yeah. They don't care about anybody else. It's about us, us, us. And here's my question. I don't want anything bad to happen to that person who posts constantly like that. But you have to also be considerate of others, because the world does not revolve. It doesn't revolve around you.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And that's the sad thing about all of this that we're talking about. Every one of us are struggling with this usage of social media, but a lot of us don't want to come clean. Mm-hmm. Looking for relationships so badly that many of us end up with we end up with what is called cyber lovers, a relationship in our minds only through the internet. Men looking at women posts. The woman ain't thinking about them, but that man has fallen in love with that woman, see? And everything that woman posts, he's going to get a notification. So he's going to go to her post so he can see her. Yeah. And so he is infatuated with her. He is in love with her. So what he has done is he has what is called a cyber lover. But the sad thing about this is she doesn't even know he exists.
Wow.
She doesn't even know he exists.
Yeah.
Because she has fallen in love with this man and vice versa in their mind. And this is social media tells a lot. It tells a lot about us as a people. It does. It really does.
Oh, yeah. I don't have anything to say about that in particular, but I was letting you go ahead with the next point.
What effect does being obsessed with social media what does it have on us? Well, it has the effect on us from the standpoint of we have fallen in love with this. This is not real.
Yes.
This is a cell phone.
Yes.
Many of us have fallen in love. We sleep with it. We eat with it. We use the restroom with it, whether it's number 1 or number 2. We look at it when it's not even on. When it's on, we look at it. We hold it. We cherish it. And we have been psychologically obsessed and affected by this. We have been addicted to social media. And this is why a lot of older people won't let it go. Because it's their world. It's their world, man. They don't have anything else to do. Now, here's something we want to switch to. Why are so many adults, Chaz? I'm not talking about kids. Now, let's beef this thing up now.
Okay.
Why are so many adults hooked on social media? And you can put in what you want to. Many of us adults have made social media a habit. It's a habit, man.
The reason why a lot of adults are so addicted to it is because they found a place where people can recognize them. It's like back in the day when we went to high school. There were cliques that we ran with, and they would notice us by them. We ran with a lot of these people. So a lot of adults use this app because they're looking and they're wanting for someone to notice them. And when they say, hey, I didn't think I would get as many Facebook friends, or I didn't think I would get this many comments, they see that more people are commenting more than usual. So they're constantly on the inside massaging themselves so that way they can have a better feeling about themselves. Let me say this real quick and I'll pass it back. If you're struggling with low self-esteem,
go ahead, Chad. Go ahead, Chad.
This is the perfect avenue, because I tell you what, if you dress nicely or you look good enough and you get comments that people say, wow, sister, you're beautiful. Wow, queen, you got it going on. Brother, that sister is going to go to the clouds. And I had to put that in there. And for the men too as well.
Okay, now this is something that we haven't brought up yet, but I got to read this post. And this sister says something that we got to talk about. She says this.
Okay.
Let me make a quick call. She says, I know some people who post about godly biblical statements daily and all that, but has turned a bitter heart to their family members.
Wow.
In other words, they put a Bible verse, and it's nothing wrong with putting it on there, but she's saying they are hypocrites.
Yes.
Because they're posting on the social media platform to make people think they're very godly, and they won't even speak to their family members. Yes. Isn't that sad?
Yeah, because if you're a godly person or you believe in the Bible, he wouldn't want you to be disrespecting the family members like that either. So she is dead on. You do, and we all know those people we have in our family who post Bible videos of Joyce Meyer and this thing, but like you said, they treat the family like crap. So it's a terrible spot to be in.
And then we're obsessed to the wrong things. Broadcasts like this and other broadcasts that are teaching, we don't want to look at those all the time. We don't want to find ourselves, making sure we're in front of the phones for this. We want to look at that other stuff, that stuff that's just poisoning our minds. And this is why these kind of shows don't carry much traction, because a lot of us have some issues. But what about this one, Chaz? I know you want to say something about this. Some of us adults, all we want is attention. Social media is our attention getter. We want attention. Look at me. Can't you see me? And so don't do a post and get 150 likes. Boy, then you're gonna do another post and only get 70 likes. And as you mentioned, the esteem goes down. And then you're gonna think something's wrong with you. There are many posts that I see that are beautiful. I don't even like them. I don't like them. So, in other words, I like what they're saying, but I don't comment or like to put my little part there that says I like it. I don't need to. I don't need to let you know that I like what you said. I need to do something about what you're posting is what I'm trying to get you to see. When you
Right.
post something about the heart and how I should do a better job, instead of me liking it, because like the sister said, we're not going to do anything about our hearts. We're just going to like the post because we
Right.
have a habit of just clicking like it, clicking like, clicking like, clicking like. So there are many posts that I refuse to like them, although I like what they're saying because I'm looking at the application. This is what maturity does. It
Mhm.
says, do something about the post other than liking it. Because
Mhm.
we have too many people that like it, smiling faces, but they're not going to do what you say because
Right.
they want attention. That's all they want is attention.
Yeah, and it's bad. I forget the person who posted this, but they said a few months ago, crack, that's not really an addiction. They're saying the length that social media has went, like you just mentioned with this attention, it has got us, brother. And if you look at some of the posts, excuse me, if you look at some of the posts, these people are posting some of anything,
Yeah, yeah,
anything,
yeah,
to
yeah.
just to get a couple of comments and likes. And it's like, okay, when we're at that point, we need to do a self-reflection. Is what I'm posting, is it really beneficial? If it's not, then why bother? Because, brother, I'm telling you now, and you can look at this too. If you go to the explore page on YouTube, you'll see some of anything being posted on there. And it's like, what, where is this world going?
Well, this world is already out of control because social media, once again, we're going to do another broadcast next week and probably the week after because there are beautiful things on social media. But what I'm saying is many of us have become addicted to it. We're strung out on social media. We are obsessed. We're obsessed with social media. And this is all we do. We don't think there's anything wrong with it because it has become a norm. Many of us adults, we really need to get our lives back from social media because we have been engulfed by it. We've got to put this phone down and look at, and we'll talk about this too later on, our communities. Our
Yes.
communities are falling apart. And I'm too busy on the phone trying to like something because I want somebody to like me, or if somebody is cute. This is how silly we've gotten. Some women and some men will do this, especially women and men as well. If a lady sees a man quote something or post something, if she likes his picture, she'll say he's cute, so she'll like it. Isn't that sick? She doesn't know anything about this man. He could be a mass murderer, but because of the way he looks to her, she's gonna like it, man. And some vice versa. If a sister posts something and the man said, "Man, she's fine. I'm gonna like this," and he doesn't know anything about. See, this is what I'm trying to tell you that we've got to stop.
Yes.
We've got to stop this nonsense.
Yes. And I think, like I said, I think there was time too, and I don't know if you remember this, brother. They said on Facebook, they were, or I don't know if it was Instagram, one of these apps, the owner said they were going to remove the like button. And a lot of the people at that
Whoa.
time were pissed because that was their dopamine. Every post that they got, they would calculate how many likes they got. And I don't think the owner did that, but it was talked about removing the likes. And brother, and I don't know if you remember that, you should have seen the comments. Oh, they really, really tore that owner up because they figured, how dare you remove my likes when this is really all I have to live for?
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Well, it's the truth. You know it's the truth.
Using social media so often has made many of us think that we are celebrities. We think that we're more than we are.
Yes.
People like our posts. We say something profound. And let's be honest, we don't say it, it's not profound. Let's say what's going on.
Okay.
What we have done is we stole posts from other people and reposted it.
Yeah.
It's not ours. We don't write anything down and then post it. We read a statement and it sounds good. We post it, people like it, and we think that we're better than we are. We really think that we are big. We have this celebrity mentality and don't have two nickels to rub together. But most of us often think that because we see ourselves as celebrities. We got a broadcast, you know, we have a podcast, or we're posting now. We uploaded a video. A lot of people know me now. So we actually think we are celebrities.
Well, there are people who do get, I mean, here's the thing, brother. There are people who get rich off of these apps. There's even people who are streaming online with them just sitting at home playing video games. So yes, what you just said is true. A lot of people can become celebrities off YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, But like you said, this is something that a lot of people have gotten rich on, especially the new one is called Twitch, where basically you sit at home, play video games, and you can get millions of dollars for this following.
Now, this queen says, speak on the dating sites. Now,
that's a broadcast in itself.
It is. Because a lot of these dating sites, or they call them dating sites. I mean, you can meet people wherever you go. It doesn't matter. There are some people that are on dating sites that are nice. They're, wholehearted. They're good people. Because some people are not on dating sites and they're rotten to the core. But I think when you're looking for love, you use the internet because you're drooling for attention.
Yes.
You want someone to notice you, you see. So you put your best picture 5 years ago on social media, on the dating site, but you don't look like that now. So when you meet up with this person, you look different because you wanted to impress them. They see that's not you. They see you've gained all that weight, but you send them your best photo so they can think that you are better than you are. But these are some sick people, man. Another queen says this. People get on social media acting like they're all that, but they forget people who you're in the real life, who are in real life. So she's saying, so stop fronting. That's what she's saying. Stop fronting. Yes. And because a lot of us, that's all we're doing. We're fronting because we have some problems.
Let me go back to that previous comment where you said about the dating sites. That is dangerous, brother. And I know you've seen these older documentaries where a person genuinely is looking for love on that site. They meet up, or they think they're meeting up with that person they were commenting with. And sometimes this person, like you said, is a murderer. People get kidnapped. And I kind of miss the old ways with dating where, you don't have to go to these lengths. You're literally meeting up with a stranger. We know nothing about, you know nothing about, and you're hoping that this person is saying, I mean, brother, in those dating apps, there's an app called, I think it's called OkCupid. Do you know, oh no, I'm sorry, it's called Tinder. Brother, do you know you have to literally pay to be on that dating app? I thought it was supposed to be free.
Well, here's the deal. When you're looking for love, when you have no one to love you, when you have low self-esteem, when you don't see yourself as nothing but a worm, you will go to any length to find someone because you want that person to notice you, man. And I don't think you and I realize this. Some people are starving for attention. They want love. I don't care if that person is bigger than 3 houses or smaller than a toothpick. They want love because they're longing for this. They're searching like a hound dog. They're looking, sniffing. They want love. And I think that a lot of us fall into that trap because we have low self-esteem and we don't love ourselves enough. So we take social media out of context and we use it for that. And social media has done us in. Many of us adults can't even distinguish between healthy social media use and obsession. We can't even, it's like an alcoholic. And I keep using this concept, alcoholic, dope addict, because I'm just trying to draw analogies. Okay. So what I'm saying is this. When you try to tell a person that's an alcoholic, you're drinking too much. You tell a dope fiend, you're smoking too much. They're going to tell you, no, I ain't doing it that much. In their mind, I ain't doing it that much. So they can't distinguish between, you tell me, well, Ja, you on social media way too much. No, I'm not, man. All I'm doing is looking at, 1,500. So I'm in denial. And this is why I keep overusing the word sad. I have never used the word sad as much as I'm using it tonight. If you rewatch this video, you're going to hear me say sad at least 7 to 10 times. Because it's a sad case when a man or a woman cannot acknowledge that something has a hold on them.
Yes.
And they won't admit that they are junkies when it comes to social media. All at night, all during the day, all during the daytime, at work, and then one eye is at work and the other eye is on the cell phone. They got to stand to put it on. This stuff, it has driven us crazy. And next week, we're going to get into the details of what that does to us.
Yes.
That does something to us. And like you said, you can't be on the cell phone 24/7. It did not affect your mind. Speak to this one. Some of us adults can't go to sleep with social media before we close our eyes.
This is true. There's, like I said, there's nothing wrong with getting on it. But when it's affecting our sleep, heck, it's even gotten to the point when we go to bed, we wake up in the middle of the night. We may have to urinate. We may have to do something. After we wash our hands and get in that bed, you know what we going to do? Get back to Twitter, get back to Snapchat.
Yeah.
We got to keep scrolling to see. It's gotten to a point, brother, like I said, even if we have a nightmare, instead of just rolling back over, going to sleep, we start scrolling again. Yeah. And it's really, really gotten out of control, brother. But let me ask you this, because the time has really got away from us today. And I know you said earlier, we shouldn't need solutions, but I want to ask you, for the people that are listening, saying, what do I do to treat this? What will your solutions be?
And I'm going to give way more solutions next week, but I want to comment on that too before I comment on the solutions, because I find myself, if I wake up at night at 4 o'clock, instead of getting up and going and read a book or meditating or just thinking, I find myself grabbing my cell phone to check to see what time it is. Once I find out what time it is, I just go on in there and I just go in there. This is a sick mentality.
Yeah.
One of the solutions that I want to talk about a lot is we have to purposefully create time for ourselves. That's beautiful. We have to create time we have to tell ourselves, I'm not getting on this phone that much today. And be consistent. I'm not spending this time on that phone because I'm the guardian of my soul, what I do. But because we're weak, we say that like a dope fiend. Or alcoholic. I'm not gonna drink anymore. They pour it down the sink and we see it, say, man, they stopped. But you forgot they had something in the closet in that other. So we start playing games. That's what I'm trying to say.
Can I ask you something real quick, brother?
Sure.
What do you think the phone rated usage, just like getting on these apps and stuff like that? I think back in the day, and my old schoolers should be able to know this, the 2005, 2006 era, when we had those Razor flip phones, I don't remember us being on our phones that much because there weren't that many apps. I think, brother, and if you don't agree, let me know. Don't you think when they installed all these new apps was when the cell phone usage went way out the roof?
Yeah, because it gave you something to do. It gave you something to do. What kind of parent would allow their children to be on a cell phone for almost 6 hours a day? And I'm going to tell you what kind of parent. The kind of parent will allow that is the kind of parent that's on the phone themselves. Yeah. It's the parent that's on the phone. See? So we've really done a bad job with the cell phone usage. Too many of us adults have allowed the convenience of social media to take us hostage mentally. We're going to talk about a lot of this next week. Our minds, we think that this is a joke that you and I are saying. A lot of people think it's funny, and it is to some degree because we're being facetious. We're having fun with it. But behind the fun, there's a lot of truth to how we have allowed social media to take our minds away from us. We can't think. We can't debate. We can't read. We can't concentrate. We can't do anything unless we have a cell phone in our hands. And I'm talking about people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and upward. Too many of us, we have allowed the convenience. It's convenient to get a phone. Grab it, look at it. That's all you got to do. And so a lot of us have allowed the convenience of social media to take us hostage mentally. Here's something else I want you to talk about, Chaz. Some of us adults, I put adult, but some of us adults are in denial about our present social media obsession. We're in denial. Why?
We are.
Why is that?
Because the way they look at it, when you attack something that they love, that they take pride in, they also feel like you're taking a shot at them. So that's why they get defensive, they get their backs up, and sometimes they'll even shoot back at you. something that doesn't even pertain to what you ask them, they'll try to degrade you real quick. And it's like, that's not what I asked you. I'm just making a comment. So we get defensive because we look at it, you're attacking something we love, and we will not stand for that. A lot of people won't.
Our subject tonight is social media obsession. If you missed this broadcast, you should go back and rewatch it, because we talked about a lot of aspects of how most of us are addicted to social media. We are obsessed with it, and we don't like to have these discussions, but we've talked about the dangers of social media and how it has affected every one of us. I also would like to ask you to support Adults Only. That's Cash App, Big Brother Jahi. Monthly, we pay for this. We pay for this app that we use that we can show Chaz and myself. Excuse me, hold on. and put up these different meters and the different information. So all we're saying is support us. You support everything else, and you watch this faithfully, but you don't support us. So again, support Adults Only. Here's what I want you to talk about. We're going to close out next week. Next week, we will look at what social media is being used for today and ways to avoid this obsession. Talk about that, Chaz.
Basically, you want to find or keep yourself as busy as possible. That's that in a nutshell. That's how you're going to avoid the usage rate. Keep yourself active, even if it's not sports. Study a new language. Keep yourself occupied, because I tell you what, when you're lonely and you're bored, that cell phone is going to be calling all of our names. And once again, if you have a business, there's nothing wrong with supporting or trying to get people to understand or, show support to your business. But brother, we must stay busy, because if we don't, we're going to be 60, 70, 80, 90 years old just on TikTok, and that's killing our brain cells. So in a nutshell, we must keep ourselves as busy as possible. And that doesn't mean from sun up to sundown, but for the most part of your day, make sure you're doing something, so that way you're not, using that phone like that.
Yeah, social media is being used for a lot of stuff today, and it shouldn't be used for that. And this is why a lot of people don't want to hear the truth. A lot of us talk about always wanting to do the right thing and better our lives, but we really don't, because next week we're going to give them ways to avoid this obsession. And I promise you, just like an alcoholic, you can tell them all you want that they shouldn't drink and things they can do to replace their drinking. But what are they going to do? Excuse me again.
I couldn't hear you. You started fading out.
I said, but what are they going to do when you tell an alcoholic, don't drink? They're going to do what they want to do.
Oh, yeah.
So next week, when we talk about what we're using social media for today, and then ways to avoid this obsession, I promise you, people are still going to do what they want to do. We have to give it to them. But the bottom line is, these people got to want to do this. And a lot of us don't want to put the phone down. And I'm not saying put it down forever. So right. I'll give you some words to say, and I'll close out. So we're beyond our time. So go ahead, Chaz, and say something to the people, and then I'll close out.
This was not to put any of you guys down. Like I said, myself included, we all have issues with the social media. I hate the fact that these people who created these cell phones, and listen, let me just say this real quick, and I promise I'm not going to be long with it. This is not an accident. This was not a mistake. These people calculated this because they felt like they can poison us through this phone, mess up our memory, make us stupid. This is all by design, so that's no accident. And then we need to start keeping ourselves busy, making ourselves as busy as possible to cut down on this usage, because I'm telling you what, Alzheimer's, memory loss, dementia. Now, not everything is due to the cell phone, but I would say probably 60% of it is due to the cell phone, because we're using it way too much. And I hear you cutting on the music. I'll be waiting for part 2, brother, and I cannot believe that this time has fled us this quickly.
Yeah, we're going to get into it deeper too next week. But I'm telling you now, you have to do what this man just said. A lot of us aren't into anything. We're not into research. We're not into reading. we've got to get our minds back into those things that's going to help develop. Because social media, it doesn't develop our mind in many instances. But a lot of us, we don't want this. We want to be social media junkies. You know, we want to be addicted to social media. A lot of us more into that certain aspect. Whatever you believe in, you should really be getting into that to help you in the principles that you should be living. You should. But a lot of us don't care about anything anymore. We just have lost our mind when it comes to social media. And I'm saying to all of us, we got to cut this out. Our babies are being destroyed. Their minds are gone. And most of us are the culprits or the reasons why. So again, let me make that last call because I'm sick tonight, but let me make that last call.
Brother, you got to get yourself right next week.
Oh, I'll be ready. I'll be ready for you next week. I'll be ready for you next week because I'm dedicated and committed. Because some people, if they get a call for a cold, they ain't going to do it.
Right.
But when
I appreciate
what we want to do, we do. So what I'm trying to say is this. On behalf of Chaz and myself, please come back next week and we're going to continue to talk about social media. And again, you can ask us all you want. What can we do? You know what you need to do. Nobody has to tell us what to do. But the challenge is, are you going to do it? Thank you for tuning in to Adults Only. We're going to get out of here now. And we say, Uncle Johnson Nell will say to you, Hotel, Shamim Hotel. And this is our outro. Check it out. We'll see you all next week. We're out of here.
Take care, everybody.